Have you ever felt controlled by people's words? A small insult ruins your entire day. A person's mood dictates your mood. You are pulled, twisted, and disturbed like a puppet on strings. Machiavelli says, "The one who masters indifference cannot be ruled." In this video, you will learn how to never be bothered by anyone. The first defense of any prince is his fortress. For the mind, that fortress is indifference. And let me tell you, most men never build it. They live with their gates wide open, exposed to every word, every look, every whisper. Think about it. One insult, one careless remark, and you lose your calm. A stranger online calls you a name, and suddenly your whole day is poisoned. A colleague questions your decision, and your confidence collapses. Someone ignores you and you feel invisible, small, forgotten. Why? Because your mind has no fortress. It is an open field, vulnerable to every trespasser. Now ask yourself, why should another man's tongue have such power over you? Why should a mere opinion pierce your heart like a sword? The truth is, it only pierces because you allow it, because you have not yet learned what Machiavelli understood centuries ago: power belongs to the one who cannot be disturbed. A fortress is not built in one day. It is laid brick by brick with discipline. The first brick is this: stop reacting to every attack. Not every word deserves your defense. Not every insult deserves your fire. The man who shows no wound invites no further attack. This is the law of power. When people know that their words cannot move you, they grow silent. They lose their weapon. Think of a lion. If a crow mocks him from a tree, does he bark back like a dog? No. He does not even turn his head. His silence is more terrifying than 100 roars. That is the fortress of indifference. Now, some will tell you, but I cannot help it. Insults hurt me. This is because you confuse reaction with strength. You believe defending yourself makes you powerful. But defense is weakness because it shows you were touched. If your skin burns, it means their fire reached you. The true fortress is when you feel the fire, yet you do not flinch. When you let the flame burn out before your silence. There is a cruel beauty in this. When you do not react, your enemies begin to doubt themselves. They wonder, did he hear me? Does he not care? Or is he planning something I cannot see? Their minds twist and turn, trying to understand your indifference. You make them fight ghosts in their own head, while you remain untouchable. And here is the secret: most people do not want to hurt you for the sake of hurting. They want to see your reaction. They want to pull the strings and watch you dance. When you deny them this, you kill their pleasure. What fun is it to mock a man carved from stone? They move on to softer prey. The fortress has done its work, but let me warn you, it is not enough to pretend indifference for a day. You must live it, breathe it, embody it. If you only act cold when you are burning inside, you will be exposed. People will notice the crack. A true fortress has no cracks. This requires practice, discipline. You must train your emotions as a soldier trains his sword arm. Every day, you must resist the urge to respond to small provocations. Begin with the small ones: an eye roll, a sarcastic remark, a trivial insult. Do not react. Let it pass. Build the stone walls higher. As your fortress grows, you will notice something strange. The same words that once stung you now bounce off like arrows on iron. You will begin to laugh at the things that once destroyed your peace. The same people who once held power over your mood will now look powerless, pathetic, begging for your attention that you refuse to give. This is the transformation Machiavelli spoke of. A man who has built his fortress of indifference is a man who cannot be ruled. He stands in the middle of chaos, while others scream, insult, and rage, and yet he does not move. And that is the moment he becomes untouchable. Your greatest weapon is not anger, it is silence. Men believe that words are power, that quick responses are strength, but the truth is harsher. The man who speaks less rules more. The man who responds with silence wounds deeper than the one who screams. Consider this carefully. When someone insults you, when they mock you, When they question your worth, they are throwing a spear. Most men, upon being struck, immediately throw one back. They defend, they explain, they attack in return. And by doing so, they reveal their wound. They show that the spear found its mark. But the one who does not respond, the one who lets the words fall to the ground as if they never existed, that man becomes untouchable. His silence is heavier than any retaliation. Machiavelli understood this well. He knew that words are not just tools of communication, they are weapons of manipulation. When you speak too much, you reveal your weaknesses. You reveal your fears, your desires, your anger. But silence hides all. Silence is a cloak, a wall, a mystery. It forces the other to reveal themselves while you remain unreadable. Think about the power of a pause. When someone insults you and you do not answer, the silence stretches. They begin to sweat in their own noise. They begin to wonder, did he not hear me? Does he not care? Or is he planning something cruel in return? Their imagination punishes them more than any words you could have spoken. And that is why silence is sharper than the sword. Now, some of you are thinking, but if I stay silent, will people not think I am weak? Will they not think I cannot respond? Listen carefully. Weakness is not in silence. Weakness is in being provoked. The dog that barks at every noise shows it has no control. The lion who remains quiet terrifies more than the loudest bark. When you do not answer, you project a cold strength. You appear calm, calculating, above the reach of petty conflict. And men fear what they cannot read. But silence is not simply the absence of words. It is a strategy. It must be used with precision. A poorly timed silence is emptiness. But a cold silence delivered at the moment when others expect rage, that is devastating. Imagine a rival throwing insults in front of others, expecting a fight, expecting to see you flinch. If you explode, the crowd sees weakness. If you debate, you lower yourself. But if you say nothing, if you remain cold, staring through them as though their words were beneath the air itself, you elevate yourself above them. The crowd feels the difference. The rival looks small. Silence also protects you from traps. Many men will bait you into speaking, hoping you reveal too much, hoping you expose yourself. If you resist, if you say little, they are left frustrated. They must play their cards openly, while yours remain hidden. The less you say, the more control you have over the board. You must understand men reveal themselves in noise. They betray their emotions in their tone, their desperation in their speed, their fear in their volume. But you, if you master cold silence, you reveal nothing. You leave them blind, and in blindness, they stumble. There is another truth hidden in silence. It makes your words more powerful when you finally choose to speak. If you are always talking, your words are like water, common, expected, forgettable. But if you are silent, when you do choose to break that silence, your words land like thunder. The crowd listens, the enemy freezes, because they know that if you speak after such long silence, it must be deliberate. It must carry weight. This is why Machiavelli wrote that a ruler must know not only when to act, but when to appear still. Power is not only in what you do, it is also in what you withhold. The cold silence is a form of control. You control their mind by refusing to give them what they crave, a reaction. You deny them the satisfaction, and in denying them, you dominate them. So train yourself to endure the itch of response. Train yourself to hold back the tongue, even when fire burns inside. Each time you master silence in the face of provocation, you sharpen your blade. Each time you refuse to explain, defend, or retaliate, you add another stone to the fortress of your mental power. And when silence becomes your weapon, men will approach you with caution. For they know you cannot be provoked like the rest. Most men are slaves, though no chains are visible. They are bound not by iron, but by the hunger for approval. Their every word, their every step, is shaped by the question, will they like me? Will they accept me? Will they applaud me? And in this need, they surrender their freedom. Think about your own life. How many choices have you made, not because they were right for you, but because you feared how others would see you? You dressed not for yourself, but to win the eyes of the crowd. You stayed silent, not because you had nothing to say, but because you feared their disapproval. You chased applause, validation, and smiles, believing that they made you stronger. But in truth, they made you weak. For every time you hunger for approval, you hand someone else the strings to your soul. Machiavelli understood this weakness in men. He saw that the masses can be controlled easily because they crave recognition. A ruler can offer them flattery, titles, or empty words of praise, and they will follow. But the man who does not need approval, he cannot be bribed, manipulated, or disturbed. He stands apart, as though carved from stone, immune to the opinions of the crowd. That is where true power begins. Approval is a drug. At first, it feels sweet. When people praise you, when they cheer your name, you feel powerful. But soon, you become addicted. You begin to chase it. And when it is denied, you feel crushed, abandoned, empty. This is why so many men live in misery, because their worth depends on the applause of others, applause that can vanish in an instant. What kind of power is that? To depend on the clapping of hands, to rise and fall with the moods of strangers. It is slavery disguised as honor. To detach from approval is to cut those strings. It is to stand in a room full of opinions and remain untouched. Whether they cheer or condemn, it changes nothing. Their words, their approval, their disapproval, it all becomes noise, like the wind against the walls of your fortress. The man who achieves this state terrifies others because he cannot be controlled. Imagine this. Two men walk into a hall. One is desperate to impress, bowing, laughing too loudly, adjusting himself to win favor. The other enters calmly, caring nothing for who approves, caring nothing for who frowns. He sits where he pleases, he speaks only if he wishes, and he wears his indifference like armor. Which man do you respect more? Which man feels like he holds the power? It is always the one who needs nothing. This is why kings were feared. Not because they begged for love, but because they acted as though they required nothing from their subjects. They gave approval. They did not seek it. Their power rested in detachment, and the same applies to you. The moment you stop needing people's approval, you begin to gain theirs in abundance. The paradox is cruel. The less you care, the more they respect you. But here lies the challenge. Detachment is not natural. From childhood, you were trained to seek praise. Parents, teachers, peers. They rewarded you when you pleased them, punished you when you did not. You learned to chase approval, as if your survival depended on it. And so breaking this chain requires unlearning, discipline, and a ruthless honesty with yourself. You must ask, whose approval do I secretly crave? Who do I bend for? Who do I fear displeasing? Once you identify this, you will see the leash around your neck, and then you must cut it. Start small. Refuse to explain yourself when someone disapproves. Refuse to adjust your behavior simply for applause. Refuse to let the noise of the crowd dictate your silence or your speech. With each refusal, you sharpen your independence. At first, it will feel like exile. You will feel the sting of rejection. But endure it, and soon you will taste a power greater than applause, the power of freedom. Because once you no longer need people's approval, you realize they cannot touch you. Their insults cannot harm you. Their praise cannot control you. You stand outside of their reach, untouchable, unbothered, like a fortress towering above the shifting crowd. The weak are always shocked by human nature. They expect loyalty, and so betrayal destroys them. They expect respect, and so insults pierce them. But the strong expect both betrayal and insult as part of life, and therefore, they are never shaken. Think about how most men live. They build friendships believing they will last forever. They trust words as if they were unbreakable bonds. They walk into rooms expecting only smiles, only praise. And when betrayal comes, when an insult strikes, they collapse as though the earth itself betrayed them. Why? because they did not prepare their minds for reality. They believed in illusions, and illusions are the sweetest poison. Machiavelli saw through these illusions. He wrote that men are ungrateful, fickle, false, cowardly, and greedy. Not sometimes, always. To ignore this truth is to live as a child. To accept it is to live as a ruler. When you expect betrayal, it cannot break you. When you expect insults, they cannot cut you. For how can you be wounded by what you already foresaw? Picture a soldier in battle. The fool enters dreaming of glory, expecting his enemies to fight with honor, expecting clean combat. The wise soldier expects arrows from the dark, knives from behind, mud and blood. When the treachery comes, the fool cries, "Unfair," but the wise one smiles. He prepared for it. His mind had already fought this war before the battle began. That is why he remains unbroken. And so it must be with you. Train your mind each day to remember that men will betray when it benefits them. That respect is temporary, loyalty conditional, praise fleeting. Do not be disturbed when it happens. Be disturbed if it does not. Because when you expect betrayal and it arrives, you stand unmoved, untouched, as though watching a play whose script you already memorized. There is a brutal freedom in this. Once you accept that betrayal and insults are inevitable, they lose their sting. Instead of asking, "Why me?" you ask, "Why not me?" You begin to see insults not as wounds, but as proof of envy. You begin to see betrayal not as tragedy, but as confirmation that you are powerful enough to be worth betraying. This shift is not just philosophy. It is armor. But armor must be forged. You must deliberately rehearse these truths in your mind. When a friend smiles at you, remind yourself he will betray if the reward is high enough. When someone praises you, remind yourself they will turn against you when it suits them. When someone shows loyalty, remind yourself it lasts only as long as it benefits them. By repeating this, you harden your mind. You strip away illusions before they can blind you. Some will hear this and call it paranoia. But it is not paranoia, it is preparation. The paranoid man trembles at every shadow, fearing betrayal at every turn. The prepared man simply accepts betrayal as inevitable, and therefore does not tremble at all. He walks calmly into the storm, knowing the rain will fall. And because he expected it, the water does not drown him. Think of how different your life would be if you lived this way. If insults no longer pierced you, because you expected them as naturally as the sun rising. If betrayal no longer shocked you, because you counted it among the laws of human nature. How much calmer would you be? How much colder, stronger, untouchable? The truth is, most people fail not because they are betrayed, but because they are surprised by betrayal. They fall not because they are insulted, but because they are unprepared for insult. Their weakness lies not in what others do to them, but in their own illusions. Strip away the illusions, and no strike can touch you. This is the training Machiavelli demands, to look at human nature as it is, not as you wish it to be, to accept the cruelty, the selfishness, the false loyalty, the inevitable disrespect, and to walk forward unshaken. For when you expect betrayal and insult, they can never disturb your peace. When you are mocked, when men spit words of disrespect at you, the weak instinct is to fight for honor, to shout, to prove, to demand respect. But this is the instinct of a fool. For in trying to reclaim respect, you reveal that you lost it. Machiavelli knew the wise man does not defend against insult. He transforms it. He converts it into power. You must understand the nature of insult. When a man insults you, he is not revealing your weakness. He is revealing his own. An insult is always born of envy, of insecurity, of fear. If he truly felt superior to you, he would not need to speak. The king does not shout at the peasant. The eagle does not argue with the crow. Insults are the weapons of those beneath you, desperate to bring you down to their level. If you understand this, then every insult becomes not a wound, but a confession. But most men do not see this truth. They hear the insult and they rush to fight. They argue. They retaliate, they lose control. And by reacting, they give their enemy victory. The insulter has achieved his purpose. He has disturbed your peace. He has made you dance to his tune. What is more pathetic than being ruled by the words of another? You must rise above this. When insult comes, resist the urge to defend. Do not throw back words. Do not explain yourself. Instead, study the insult. Observe the man who delivered it. What weakness did he just reveal? What envy drives his tongue? What insecurity bleeds through his mockery? If you can remain calm, each insult becomes intelligence. Each insult becomes a window into another man's soul. And knowledge, Machiavelli reminds us, is power. This is how you convert insult, by transforming it from an emotional wound into a strategic lesson, by refusing to take it personally and instead treating it as information. When someone mocks your ambition, it tells you they fear your rise. When they belittle your achievements, it tells you they envy your position. When they attack your character, it tells you they see in you a strength they cannot touch. If you can hear insults this way, you gain power from what was meant to harm you. There is another level to this arty, using insult as fuel. Let it feed your cold determination. Let it sharpen your ambition. The man who said you could not succeed has just handed you fire. The rival who mocked your weakness has just challenged you to turn it into strength. But here is the difference: you do not fuel yourself with emotional rage. Rage burns fast and weakens judgment. You fuel yourself with silent resolve. Cold fire, not wildfire. The insult does not push you into reckless retaliation. It pushes you into relentless control. Imagine how terrifying this makes you to your enemies. They insult you, and instead of seeing you break, they see you grow stronger. They see you turn their venom into steel. It unsettles them, because they realize they cannot wound you. Worse, they realize their attempts to harm only made you more dangerous. This is Machiavellian power. To take your enemy's strike and forge it into your weapon. Do not mistake this for passivity. You are not ignoring the insult. You are absorbing it, studying it, turning it to your advantage. It is the art of alchemy, transforming something worthless into something valuable. To the untrained man, an insult is pain. To the trained man, an insult is intelligence, motivation, and proof of his growing power. The crowd will not understand this. They will expect you to defend yourself, to fight back, to meet words with words. But when you remain calm, when you smile coldly, when you carry on as though nothing touched you, they begin to see you differently. You no longer appear as a man struggling for respect. You appear as a man who already has it. Respect flows not to the one who demands it, but to the one who acts as though he cannot lose it. And here lies the final advantage: silence, in the face of insult, makes your enemies appear small. The crowd sees their rage and your composure, their desperation and your calm, their noise and your silence. Who then appears greater? Who appears in control? The one who spoke, or the one who stood unmoved? A prince may feel anger, fear, or despair within, but he must never reveal it. Power does not belong to the one who feels nothing. It belongs to the one who conceals everything. To appear unshakable is greater than to be unshakable. You must understand this distinction. All men feel emotions. Even rulers bleed inside. Even lions tremble at times. The difference is that the weak display their storms, while the strong wear masks of calm. And in this world, men judge only what they see, not what you hide. If they see you tremble, they believe you are weak, even if your heart is iron. If they see you calm, they believe you are strong, even if your heart is in flames. Appearance becomes reality. Consider this truth. In the court of politics, in the games of power, perception is more valuable than essence. If you appear calm, men will follow you, respect you, fear you. If you appear broken, they will attack you, mock you, betray you. Even if your inner strength is greater than theirs, it will not matter, because men act on what they see, not on what is hidden. Therefore, your task is not to erase your emotions. It is to master them behind a mask. Think of the battlefield. A commander may feel dread as he looks upon an enemy larger than his army. But if he reveals this dread, his soldiers will lose faith, and the battle is lost before the first strike. Yet if he appears fearless, even when his heart shakes, his men will take courage. They will fight harder, and through their belief, his fear becomes irrelevant. His mask of composure becomes his true weapon. The same law applies to your life. When someone insults you, you may feel anger boiling. When someone betrays you, you may feel pain tearing at your heart. When the world turns against you, you may feel the urge to collapse. But the art of power demands this: you must not reveal it. Your face must remain stone. Your tone must remain calm. Your body must remain still. Even if inside you rage like fire, outside you must appear as cold marble. Why? Because men exploit weakness the instant they see it. A rival who senses your anger knows he has pierced you. A betrayer who sees your sorrow knows he has broken you. A manipulator who sees your fear knows he can control you. But if your face reveals nothing, if your mask never cracks, they are left in darkness. They cannot tell if you are hurt, if you are planning revenge, or if you are completely untouched. Their uncertainty becomes your weapon. This is why Machiavelli advised princes to cultivate appearances more than truth. It is not necessary to be calm. It is necessary to appear calm. It is not necessary to be fearless. It is necessary to appear fearless. Men believe what they see, not what you know, and in their belief lies your power. You must practice this in daily life. Train your body to obey your mind. When anger burns, let your voice grow softer, not louder. When fear strikes, let your posture remain tall, not bent. When betrayal wounds you, let your eyes remain steady, not broken. Do not allow your emotions to leak through your gestures. Hold them within, like a sealed vault. Over time, this discipline will harden you. It will give you control over yourself and control over others. There is a paradox here. When you master the art of appearing unshakable, you begin to become unshakable. At first, the mask hides your fire. But as you wear it longer, the fire cools. The performance becomes reality. What began as concealment becomes transformation. You no longer merely act calm. You become calm. You no longer merely appear composed. You become composed. The mask becomes your skin. Imagine how this changes the way people see you. You walk into a room, and men cannot read you. They cannot tell if you are pleased, angry, or indifferent. Your calm unsettles them, because most men reveal themselves too easily. They laugh too loud when they are nervous. They lash out when they are angry. They shrink when they are afraid. But your face does not betray you. Your voice does not crack. Your composure never falters. In a world of men who bleed openly, you become a statue. And statues are worshipped, feared, remembered. This is the highest discipline of mental power, not to kill your emotions, but to master their display, to let the storm rage inside, yet let the world see only stillness, to turn your face into a mask of strength so convincing that even your enemies begin to believe you are carved from stone. Now you understand what it means to walk through the world untouchable. You have learned the fortress of indifference, the weapon of silence, the freedom from approval, the armor of expecting betrayal, the art of turning insult into power, and the mask of composure that makes you appear unshakable. These are not tricks for the weak, but disciplines for the strong. For in the end, power does not belong to the one who strikes hardest, nor to the one who shouts the loudest. It belongs to the one who cannot be disturbed, cannot be provoked, cannot be moved.